When it comes to strength, what first comes to mind for many is physical endurance, the ability to cope with difficulties or impressive endurance. But true strength is not shown in loud victories, but in those moments when no one sees what you had to go through. It manifests itself in the ability to maintain dignity in difficult situations, not to give into panic when everything does not go according to plan, and find inner balance. Despite the chaos around it is a strength that does not require recognition and does not need ostentatious demonstration, but it is this that determines how truly steady you are in the face of life. Today we will not talk about the usual images of strength. Instead, we will consider 7 hidden signs that prove that your inner power is much greater than it seems. Ready to look at strength from a new angle? Then let's start. First, you look fear in the face. Not everyone is able to meet their fears. Most people are looking for ways to get around them, hide behind excuses, put off decisions for later. But if you go towards your fear, this is already an indicator of inner strength. Real strength is not in never being afraid. It is in understanding fear is not an enemy, but it is better the step. Despite trembling in the voice or doubts in the head makes you stronger. Remember the moment when fear stood in your way. Maybe it was making a difficult decision, the moment when you had to defend your truth, or a risky step that could change your life. Even if your heart was beating madly and your mind was whispering, "Stop, it is too dangerous." And at that moment, something important happened. You not just overcame fear, you stepped over your own limitations. The Stoics teach fear is not an obstacle, but an opportunity. The one who is afraid but acts, the one who hears the voice of doubt but continues to move forward, grows with every step. It is important to remember anxious thoughts like, "What if I fail?" or "What if I can't do it?" This is just a test of your resolve. They don't define you, but your reaction to them defines what kind of person you will become. Truly strong people don't let fear hold them back. They use it as fuel for growth. If you are faced with something that scares you but doesn't retreat, this is an indicator of true strength, because strength is not in the absence of fear, in the ability to go to another. You take responsibility for your actions. For a sign of true strength is the ability to admit your mistakes and not shift the blame to others. This does not mean being perfect. It means having the courage to face the truth, even if it is inconvenient. Many people avoid responsibility. They blame other people's circumstances, accidents, just to avoid facing the consequences of their decisions. This path seems easier, but in reality, it leads to weakness and stagnation. However, you are not one of those who look for excuses. You are strong enough to say, "This on me," and not just admit a mistake and draw conclusions from it. When you take responsibility for your actions, you take control of your life. You are not a victim of chance. You are the one who builds your destiny. Every mistake becomes an opportunity for a step to new heights. This is not only a sign of strength, but also wisdom. In addition, the ability to admit your actions is the path to respect people. Trust those who can say, "I was wrong," and take a step to correct it. This causes not only respect, but also inspiration. Integrity and honesty are the qualities that distinguish strong people from those who are straight for excuses, not in avoiding mistakes, but in how we react to them. Epictetus said that it is not the events themselves that are important, but our attitude to them when you take responsibility you do not. Get stuck for growth next time. Analyzing your actions, remember. Admitting your mistakes does not make you weaker. On the contrary, it is an indicator of your maturity, your endurance, and your willingness to become better. These are the people who not only succeed in life, but also inspire others. Perhaps you do not even realize how your example changes those around you. But this is the true power of being the one who makes the world around you stronger. Just staying true to yourself. Third, you know how to set boundaries and stick to them. You know how to set boundaries and stick to them. Boundaries are the invisible guardians of the inner balance. Personal freedom. If you can say no without feeling fear or guilt, it means that you already have what many people find difficult. The ability to defend your space is important. It is important to understand that boundaries are not about pushing people away, but about creating conditions in which you can be the best version of yourself. This is a conscious choice to direct your energy there, and not where they are trying to impose it. Remember the moment when you had to refuse someone, knowing that this refusal could disappoint. Perhaps you did not agree to a meeting because you needed to restore strength after a stressful week or refused additional work, realizing that you are already overloaded. At first, a shadow of doubt or guilt could appear, but then realization came. This choice preserved your inner balance and allowed to focus on what is really important. This is not only a sign of respect for yourself, but also a signal to others that you know your value. The Stoics said happiness begins with self-control, and self-control with setting boundaries. Strong people understand if their own cup is empty, they will not be able to fill. Others will leave themselves as a priority out of selfishness. Isaiah. From Sonia. Internal integrity and not exhaustion. Of course, set boundaries. It is not easy. People can resist pressure. You try to evoke a feeling of guilt or accuse you of having changed, but real strength is not bending under other people's expectations, but staying true to yourself. The most amazing when mean those who really value you. It is they who respect your strength and support you on the path of development. Boundaries don't make you selfish, they make you wise. They help you focus on what's really important. Develop deep and honest relationships. Maintain inner mime will say when it's things that really fill you. Be proud of it. You're not just protecting yourself, you demonstrate, and that's real strength. Fourth, you're not afraid to be. You're not afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerable. Many perceive vulnerability as weakness, but in fact it requires tremendous inner strength. Real power is not in pretending that everything is under control, but in daring to say, it's hard, or I need help. Strength is the ability to acknowledge your emotions and not suppress them. It's the willingness to be honest with yourself and others, even if it seems uncomfortable. Remember a moment when life tested you. Perhaps you faced a difficult situation that you didn't know how to cope with, or went through a period when everything seemed uncontrollable. In such moments, there is two ways to hide your feelings behind a mask of indifference, or admit that you are not easy. Those who choose the second always turn out to be stronger, because recognizing vulnerability does not weaken, it liberates. It removes the burden that prevents moving forward and allows you to find support where it is really important. Stoic philosophy teaches we cannot control all circumstances, but we can control our reaction. When a person realizes that he does not have to be perfect, he stops pretending. This gives an incredible advantage: the ability to grow without fear of condemnation. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but the starting point of change is the understanding that imperfection is not a disadvantage but part of the path to a better version of yourself. But there is an important point: not all people deserve access to your vulnerability. Share your feelings. This is not a sign of helplessness, a conscious choice. Strong people know who they can open up to and who not. Real strength is the ability to be sincere without being afraid to seem weak. This is the ability to admit your experiences and at the same time remain steadfast. Every scar is not a symbol of defeat, but proof that a person has gone through trials and becomes even stronger. Vulnerability hides not only freedom, but also enormous inner power, and everyone who dares to admit this already has a truly indestructible strength. Fifth, you continue. You continue to move forward when it gets hard. Move forward when it gets hard. Real strength is not just physical endurance or confidence. It is persistence. It is the decision to move on even when circumstances are against you. When life becomes difficult, it is easy to succumb to the temptation to give up. Stop. Give up. Let fear or disappointment take over, but strong people choose another path. They take a step forward even when the road seems infinitely difficult, and this choice proves that inner resilience is stronger than any obstacles. Imagine a traveler walking through the desert. The heat is exhausting. His legs are tired. The final goal is not visible ahead. You can give up and turn back, but you can take another step and then another. So, step by step, he gets closer to the goal. Even if he does not see it yet, life often presents such trials: loss of job, difficult relationships, a dream that seems unattainable. At these moments, you want to ask, is it worth continuing? But this is where true strength is born. Stoic philosophy reminds that it is not important what happens to you, but how you this. People know resilience is not rushing forward without fatigue. It is not stopping even if the path seems slow. Perseverance does not mean that you need to be impenetrable. It means that even in moments of weakness, even when it seems that your strength is running out, you can take one more step. There will be days when it seems that in despite doubts, fears, and fatigue, a strong person is not the one who never falls. It is the one who gets up every time. If you are going through a difficult period now, remember every step forward matters. Every time you choose not to give up, you are not just getting closer to your goal, but creating a better version of yourself. Every new test becomes proof of your inner true strength is not in making everything easy, but in never stopping. Sixth, you help. You help others to rise. Others to rise. Helping others is one of the most powerful signs of true strength in a world where competition is often valued over support. Showing kindness and extending a helping hand may seem weak, but in fact, these are qualities that only strong-willed people have. Those who are truly confident in themselves are not afraid that someone nearby will become better, smarter, more successful. They know strength is not outshining others, but helping them to reveal your potential. Imagine a person who is always ready to share experience, support, inspire. He does not do it for recognition or benefit. He does it because he understands success is not a solitary race, but a path on which we can lift each other up. By lifting others up, real strength is manifested in being a support for those who are nearby. This does not mean sacrificing oneself or forgetting about one's needs. Strong people know how to set boundaries, but at the same time find the opportunity to inspire and support. They create an atmosphere of trust around themselves where everyone feels that he is appreciated and go this, which becomes better thanks to such actions. When you find time to listen to someone, support him in a difficult moment, or just say, I believe in you, you create an effect that can change someone's life. If you have ever inspired or lifted someone up, be proud of it. You prove that strength is not in fighting each other, but in the ability to unite, motivate, and support. Continue to believe in, inspire people, because it is these people who make this world stronger. You, the embodiment of strength that truly changes, lives. Seventh, you stay true. You stay true to yourself. To remain true to yourself, one of the most significant manifestations of inner strength in a world where social pressure, others' expectations, and endless comparisons make many lose themselves. To preserve their authenticity, this is a real feat. This is not just a choice, but a principle that determines who you really are. People often adapt to circumstances, are afraid to stand out, or resist the opinion of the majority. It is easiest to keep silent when everyone around supports an idea with which you do not agree. It is easiest to follow other people's standards, even if they go against your beliefs. But a strong person does otherwise. He does not strive to be convenient. He strives to be real. No one can control your thoughts except you, and you remain true to your principles. You create a solid foundation for each of your decisions. It is not about stubbornness or pride. It is about honesty with yourself. Real strength is not blind opposition to the world, but conscious understanding when it is worth being flexible, and when TDO lag behind their beliefs and do not allow others to destroy them. They realize that inner core does not mean being closed. It means being open to new things, but not compromising on what is truly important. When you refuse to make concessions on matters of principle, choosing your own path instead of blindly following the crowd, it is an act of incredible strength. It is not just a personal decision, it is an example for others to live it. Expectations, it is not just an individual choice, but an inspiration for others in a world where many change their beliefs for the sake of fleeting approval. True authenticity is becoming rare, but it is precisely this that makes you unbreakable. Your uniqueness is your strength. By staying true to yourself, you do not just become stronger. You show the world, not in chasing others, but in being yourself. It is this makes you truly unshakable. If these signs are conclusion reflected in you, then you have the rare quality of finding strength inside. You don't need external confirmation to feel confident. You don't chase the noise of the crowd. Appreciate the silence in which awareness and depth are born. You know who you are, and you don't have your principles but remember, independence is not isolation. Stoic philosophy reminds that true balance is the ability to find support in yourself, but at the same time keep space for sincere, deep relationships. Loneliness gives strength, but it is the connection with worthy people that helps to increase the strength. Let this path lead you to inner freedom, fortitude, and authenticity. In the many true to yourself is the greatest power. Take care of it.